I've been dreaming so much lately about your face when you're smiling. It's the only thing that saves me. Hey, I don't know if I told you that I think you're beautiful, and how I can't wait to hold you. Yeah, you pull me up when I'm falling down, and I don't know how I would do without you. Yeah, you pull me up when I'm falling down. Hey, now look into my eyes. You can use them as a mirror, baby. You're my ticket to paradise. Hey, now everything's alright. We've been longing for each other, and it feels like I'm on cloud nine. I don't wanna be without you. This is something that I know for sure. It's just something about you. I just want more. Tell me what you wanna do right now. Tell me what you wanna do tonight. I really don't care as long as I'm with you. Hey, now look into my eyes. You can use them as a mirror, baby. You're my ticket to paradise. Hey, now everything's alright. We've been longing for each other, and it feels like I'm on cloud nine.
All right, welcome to Cross Country Talk. Tonight, I have on my dad, Frank.
Howdy.
And we got a friend of ours, Rich. Hey, Rich.
Hi, Rich. Hi.
And we have Rob. Where's Rob?
Hi, Rob.
Where'd Rob go?
I don't see Rob.
Jeez. All right, well, that must be Rob.
I got a text from Rob. My computer shut down.
All right. So, and then we have Dylan on helping us out as well. Hey, Dylan.
Hello. How's it going?
So tonight we are going to talk about the last adventure that Frank, Rob, and Rich had gone on, and it's a paramotor adventure out in the desert. Is that right?
That's correct.
Along with some camping you guys did out there. So, real quick. We don't have any sponsors of the channel. We do this all on our own free time, but I do want to throw some shout outs to some of the folks that help us out with the show. One here is Dylan. Dylan jumps on the show every once in a while, helps out. And Dylan, you just released a couple new videos, didn't you, on your channel?
Yeah, we just did one of a time lapse of the smoke near us, because I'm right in between the. Well, it's one fire as far as CAL FIRE is concerned. It's an LNU complex, but there's one to the west and one to my east. We released a time lapse of that one, and then we just did an entire one of my glamping setup, my glamorous camping. So, yeah, it's the first time I've ever shown off what I actually use when I go out in the woods. So,
yeah, I finally got done with that video because it was like 40 minutes long.
Yeah, I bring a little bit of stuff with me. You know, I like to be comfortable in my young age.
Yeah, so let's go. Let me see if I can click this on. Oh, yep, there's Dylan's channel there. You guys can all see. And also want to give a shout out to Dukes of Off-Road Hazard. He is going to be coming on our show here in the near future. And he's going to throw a shout out to our channel in one of his next videos. So check him out. Hey, we got Rob back. Hello, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Hello.
We are
what
live.
went on there?
Yeah, we are live, Rob. So we got quite a few folks in here tonight. So let's start with Frank, my dad. Tell us,
AKA Old Grumpy.
Old Grumpy. So give us a minute or two and kind of summarize yourself. Tell us who you are.
I'm Old Grumpy, your dad. You should know that.
Not everybody.
I don't know
watching.
a thing. Inform me.
My name is Frank Hobbs. I go by Old Grumpy, and soon I'll be starting a new channel called It's Grumpy's World, and all about outdoor stuff, kind of like yours, doing stuff, getting out of the house. Brian, ex-country, got me started on paramotors. What was it, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
I think about 3 years ago.
About 3 years
Three and
ago.
a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept saying, no, I want an airplane. I got to buy me a new airplane. And he goes, no, Dad. And he kept sending these videos. And I don't know, low and slow between the trees got to be pretty appealing. So
Yeah.
Brian and I, we went to the Salton Sea and got trained up, and we've been having fun. And just recently I got Rich talked into getting one. And Rob has got one. So the three of us are going to be flying together here soon as Rich's is built. But I like doing a little bit of everything. Scuba diving, open water shark dives, skydiving, motorcycles, ATVs, hunting, fishing. If it's outdoors, I'll do it.
Gotcha. And Rob, tell us a little bit about yourself. What you got going on?
Well, I kind of retired and disappeared again. And I hang out with Frank a lot, Old Grumpy, and do a lot of the stuff he likes to do. We become friends about 17 years ago.
Yeah, about that.
Used to go four-wheeling together, then we started skydiving together, and now him and Brian got me trying to do this paramotor thing, and just like to have fun. Got to be going and doing stuff, hunting, fishing, whatever.
Nice. And then Rich, how about you? What you got going on?
Pretty much the same boat. I don't get out much anymore, but I'm gonna do it now because I got a new toy coming. I'm gonna go enjoy it.
Now, did my dad talk you into that one too?
Pardon me?
Did my dad talk you into that? Did he?
Well, he didn't have to do much talking. I've always wanted to fly since way back. And this is the cheapest, safest way to do it that I can do it. And got to get my bike out again, get it running. I'd rather go fly though. I want to go see the country from up above.
Gotcha.
It'd be a great sport.
Right. So, Dad, tell us a little bit about paramotors. For like Dylan and whoever else is watching that may not know what a paramotor is. Can you give us kind of
Paramotor, most of them are two-cycle, small engine with the prop in a cage, and you strap them on your back, and you have an inflatable wing. It's like a big parachute, and you take off running, and the wind inflates the wing, and up off of the ground you go, and you fly around. You start getting old like me, and you got 55 pounds on your back. Trying to take off and land is a pain, so I bought a cart and strapped my paramotor onto the cart, so now I fly on four wheels.
Oh, really? I didn't know that was even possible.
Oh, yeah. Brian's got some pictures that he was going to put up here a little later. But Rich and I both ordered new four-stroke. They're called Green Eagle, and we're going in November to pick them up. So no more two-stroke problems.
Why are they generally two-stroke out of four? Because it seems like a lot less hassle and more power.
Smaller, lighter.
less weight? Yeah.
Okay. That's a good point.
For when you have them on your back, the lighter the better.
Mm-hmm. Well, now you got a cart though.
Yep.
Well, now I got a cart. That's why I bought a new cart.
Okay.
It's bigger and heavier.
And if I remember right, one of the issues with the four strokes actually being a backpack model was something to do with the oil. They couldn't figure out how to contain the oil for a four-stroke on your back, and it being heavier. Is that right?
Yeah, with the four-stroke, you're usually water-cooled, and you have oil. Where two-stroke, you don't have the water, you don't have the oil. The oil is mixed with the gas, as you know, and just a lot less weight. You talk about all that oil you're packing and the water you're packing and the charging system, where the two-stroke has got a magneto that takes care of the spark. It's just the 2-stroke is so much lighter than the 4-stroke. But this larger cart that we're getting is built to handle the big 4-stroke engine. So
it's a 2-cylinder engine.
Wow, a twin cylinder. Is it a V twin?
I think they're lateral.
Okay.
I think. I'm not positive on that. It could be inline.
You know, it's funny sometimes. Like somebody like me, when you guys are turn on a light switch and pointed out an elephant. I never saw that elephant, otherwise known as radiator, cooling hoses, coolant, oil pan, gaskets. I didn't think about that. So thank you for turning that on for me.
Yeah.
Well, we got our Alaska friend back on tonight. Broke Necks. I think he was on here watching along with us here last week. So welcome.
Hi. Wish I would. Someday I want to make it up that way. Someday.
Yeah, for sure.
Bucket list. I'd love to see if I could make it a full year. I don't know if
from the middle of nowhere, Alaska, saying hi to you guys.
Yep. So so tonight we're going to talk about the kind of this last big adventure you guys went on. So who planned this? Was that you, Dad, that planned this desert camping trip, or was it an idea that came up between all three of you?
Well, being Rich is buying this bigger, faster machine, I figured I better get a bigger, faster machine so we can fly together, right? And we didn't have nothing to do. We'd fill the cool chest up with a couple beers and head out into the mountains looking for places to land, launch and take off. And we talked about it, that it would be a good idea if we could get our trailers in and spend 4 or 5 days, fly right out of the trailer. Well, there's a lot of dry lake beds around. So we just had fun exploring, looking for places to launch and land. And we found one just south of Austin. We camped right on the edge of the lake bed. It was nice and firm and had a good time. It was just one of those things. This is the perfect place. When are we coming? And it just happened. Nobody really come up with the idea themselves. It just happened. Once Rich and I figured it out, then I called Rob and said, this is what we're doing. And he headed that way.
Nice. And how many days did you plan on staying out there?
Go ahead, Rich.
4 days, wasn't it on our 5 days off?
Yeah.
We spent 4 full days there. I did. These guys did.
On our rotation, we have 5 days off. So it was only like an hour and a half from where we live. So on the first day we traveled and spent the evening playing around, and then we had 3 full days. And then the 5th day we played around in the morning when the wind was still, and then packed up and headed home. Was home about noon. So
you were.
Well, you don't count.
Yeah. And the neat thing about it is this dry lake bed, when Frank sent me an aerial view of it, it's where I used to go hunting and fishing, and I know the farmers out there that got a ranch, and it was pretty cool.
Gotcha. I want to say hi to Dirt Bike Rider, is on here watching us as well tonight.
Hey there.
So, hello.
Yeah, you're a viewer of both of ours.
Gotcha. So, so with paramotoring, even with flying and even practicing what they call kiting, right? When you're practicing with the wing from the ground, just kiting the wing above your head to learn and work on your control of it. I would imagine Nevada desert can get quite hot during the middle of the day, so I would assume that you guys are doing this in the morning, early morning, and late afternoons. What were you doing in between?
Drinking beer.
Gotcha. So you're just hanging out, having a good time?
You betcha.
Gotcha.
And where we were camped is 6,000 foot, so it's not quite as hot as down lower. So I mean that was a cool week too. It was pretty nice. It was about 85 during the day for a high, Frank. And then,
once you were in the shade, it was perfect.
Yeah, it was nice.
So did you guys bring all 3 your trailers?
Yep.
Yep.
So each one had his own trailer. And
Yeah, so we can get away from each other.
so what did you have there to as a toy or a vehicle? Rob, I think I watched some of the video. Did you have your Razor
I
there?
had my Razor there, and when your dad was flying, when old Grumpy was flying, I drove alongside of him, and we would video him, and come out really good. It made some good video.
Let me pull that video up real quick. You guys may not be able to see this, but the viewers can. So, Dad, this is the video that I got of looks like you launching.
Yep. We can't see it like you said, but
yeah, But he's got the wing laid out. He's in his cart.
Yep.
And it looks like he's just taking off. The wing comes up. And it looks like it got off-centered, a little bit off to the right. Reinflated.
Oh, is that the cart thing you're talking about? Like three-wheel? Oh, okay.
Are you seeing it there, Dylan?
Oh, yeah. Now it makes sense.
There it is.
There he goes. He's up in the air. And then that's Rob chasing along in the Razor.
So, yeah, it'd be me and Rich.
Hey, Rich, are you filming this?
Yeah, I was taking a video of you.
I got you.
Does that cart stay on there the whole time, or does it come off when you lift off?
No, it's all attached.
Oh, any suspension? That seems like it might hurt if you...
Yeah, the axles are made of fiberglass, so the axles themselves flex.
Man, you can run really fast. You're keeping up with that thing.
Well, that'd be Rich video. No, we're in my side by side chasing him.
And you can run real quick and hold it stable too at the same time. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
You gotta come out with me. I need you.
So, Brokeneck says, if I ever get a chance, I'm heading south to learn how to paramotor. Would be handy around here. There are only 2 people in a 200-mile radius who do this.
Wow.
Brokeneck, where do you plan on going for training? It'd be interesting if see who you have selected. Dad and I, we went through our first training was with Mike Masterson at the Salton Sea. And now, Rich, you and Dad are going to go to Green Eagle, isn't that right?
Yes. Marble Falls, Texas.
Gotcha.
We got a week down there that we're going to spend.
That's really... I've never seen one with the wheels. It's almost like somebody took a go-kart and took everything else off and put the motor on the back. But I noticed the wheels do drop down. Is that what you mean by they have some flex?
Yep. The axles are fiberglass, so they flex.
All right, that makes sense.
Huh. So I'll show some of your pictures here too, Dad. So the first picture I got is kind of your camp setup. Looks like you have 3 of your trailers all circled around with all the doors facing
Rich
each
was
other.
the position coordinator.
Nice.
He got us all tucked in there, really nice.
Got to ring the wagons, right?
Yeah.
Circle the wagons. Yeah. And then who took this picture of the blue light and the campfire? Because that turned out quite well.
That would
Can you make that bigger, Brian, by chance?
Yeah.
It's a thumbnail.
Yeah, we can make that bigger. Yeah, I don't know. It's
like a rough way to spend a few days, man. That looks terrible.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah. I'm sorry you had to suffer through that.
Yeah, had to actually get up and go in the trailer to get another beer.
God.
Yeah, I'm serious.
No food rack-a-cycle?
Yeah, it's just horrible.
Like in the Jetsons?
Yeah.
Now something with this picture with the blue ambient light, around, and then you have that orange fire in the center that shows the cracks of the desert floor there.
Those are the blue is the party lights on my trailer.
But I know that but that just it sticks out.
Yeah,
makes that picture.
It's a
look
cool
really
picture.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll just run through the other pictures here real quick while we have it open. Here I got you flying above the salt. Looks like the salt flat. Then,
actually, it's dry lake bed and not salt out there.
That's not salt?
No.
Alkali.
Alkali.
Okay.
They do wind sail karting out there where you have a thing with 3 wheels and then you have a little sail on it like a sailboat. And,
Right.
and they hold the world nationals on this dry lake bed. And I was talking to a guy from Salt Lake and I asked him why they didn't go out on the salt flats and he said it's too corrosive.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, but
What is
yeah,
it,
this salt
Labor Day?
flat is, what's that?
Labor Day, they're going to have the World Championships on that lake bed for the sailing carts, whatever you
Next
call
week. Yeah. This lake bed is 5 miles long and over a mile wide. It's huge. And I went out while your dad was flying and talked to some other people, and they had this thing that was like the size of a 55-gallon drum, and they had it covered with plastic. And I asked the guy, I said, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, that's our telescope. It's the biggest telescope I ever seen." And he says, "Yeah, we like to come out here and look." He says, "But the people that made up the maps of all the consulates and stuff," he said they must have done it from in a big city, because he says out there you can't find them. There's too many stars.
Oh, wow.
He says it's just crazy out there at what you can see in space. But pretty cool out there.
That sounds like a great place to go light painting. I'd try to catch that Milky Way going up over the trailers.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You should come and take a look at my jumping jack, and we'll take you out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I guess I can go to the shooting range when I'm out there too.
Yeah, might as well.
The one place I can go shoot class 3.
It's about, I think it's like 2 hours from Reno, 2.5 hours from Reno to
That's
this
not
flight.
bad. I mean, it's already 4.5 to 6, depending on what I'm driving and how I'm driving. So
Yeah.
from me to there.
While we're talking about it, let's pop up the Google map here, and I'll show you guys where this place is here.
If
So
you,
so we all know
Go
where
ahead.
Reno is, right? So Reno, we would say if you're coming from Reno, probably jump on 50, right?
yeah,
Right.
it's
And
and then you take 50 out past Fallon, and then you jump on the old Highway 50
okay.
from Eastgate. It's called Eastgate out there. It's a
Highway-
junction, and you go up and over an old summit, and it drops down on that flat, and then it comes back out at Austin.
Highway
Okay.
722.
You're right. So here on the map, I got Austin. We see 722 going southwest, and it looks like it either turns into Highway 2 as well. Is that right?
No,
I'm not sure.
It's
you
got
stay on 722.
okay.
Past, if you're going from Austin, you go southwest, past the airport.
Right.
Then there's that old road that takes off, goes down to the Reese River. You stay on 722 and go up over Iron Pass, I think it is.
Right there where your cursor is, Brian, at the corner of that flats, that's where we were camping.
Okay. So did you guys enter from the south, like down here in this corner, or
We entered for that highway you can see right there, going through all them pivots, farm
Next to
pivots.
the alien crop circles?
Yeah, exactly.
uh,
And we're right there where there's like a green dot on would be the northeast corner. We turned in right by there and camped
Okay.
right in there.
so the northeast corner. So right when you guys came down 722 and you see the floor, that's where you kind of broke off, right?
Yeah.
And you got on to. If you're watching the YouTube there, Rob, does this kind of make sense of where you guys camped?
Now take your cursor down. You got 2 flats there. You got a small flat, and then you got the huge flat.
Right. The small flat
It-
being on the right.
Yeah. Where your cursor just was, you follow that road on down. Oh, get out of there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lag of what's going on
Yeah.
what you're seeing on YouTube. But that's kind of that north.
Where that road gets really close to the flat, the big lake bed, that's right in there is where we turned
Okay.
on and went into it and camped.
I gotcha. So right there, that kind of little intersection
Yeah.
goes from the large flat to the little flat, kind of
Well, no, we were further down.
further down.
We were away from the small flat.
Okay. Yep. Gotcha. Cool.
So
So what else did the flats here have to offer other than
no cell phone service. But old Grumpy had a booster, so he could get Texas in and out, but you couldn't make no calls from the flats.
Gotcha. So Rob, you had your trailer, you said, and you had your Razor. Did you have any kind of flying machine there with you?
Yeah, I had my paramotor there with the cart that I've got.
Okay. Did you fly at all while you were there, or just?
If you want to call tipping over upside down flying, well then yeah.
Okay.
I kind of flipped it when I was kiting and bent some stuff up, so
Okay.
I was pretty much done for the week.
Gotcha.
But I just hung out and watched your dad fly and did some kiting and watched Rich do a lot of kiting. For somebody that learned to kite by watching a lot of videos, Rich is really good at kiting. He got it fast.
So Rich, what did you have there? I mean, you had your trailer. Did you have a flying machine as well, or did you just have the wing to kite with?
Your dad gave me an old wing that he had bought that he trained with, and then he gave it to me to train with. That's what I had. I just learning how to kite, and it was real enjoyable. I had a really good kite session.
Gotcha.
Towards the evening, we'd get some really good wind for kiting. Oh.
How strong were the winds there?
When we were kiting, they were like 5 to 10 in that area, and they'd get just a little more than that. But then, I mean, as the sun dropped, they just went dead. It just got still.
I gotcha.
So I got to ask, as somebody who knows very little about this, is wind a good thing, a bad thing? What is too much? What is too little?
Go ahead, Frank.
Well, if you're kiting,
Define
that's
kiting.
what-
I also don't know what that means.
okay,
Sorry.
you have the wing. You know what the wing is. That
Yes.
was the thing that was above me.
Mhm.
You attach it to a harness. You're on your feet, and you bring it up, and you get it flying, and you control it. So
Okay.
you need some wind to inflate the wing and keep it up there.
Okay.
If you don't have the wind, then you got to inflate it and run.
Oh.
And we're old, and we don't like that.
I'm
Okay,
not
so-
going to stand up and show you my belly, but
A little bit of wind is good, but
Yeah,
I imagine there's such thing as too much. Yeah.
around 8 to 10 miles an hour is perfect for kiting.
Okay.
Rich got one session where he brought it up and he kept it up nice and smooth until he was so tired he couldn't handle it anymore, and then he brought it down.
It was probably 10, at least 10 minutes he kept it up there.
It was
a
a
long
beautiful
time.
job. You could just watch that wing just up there flying and staying under it, controlling it. But when you're flying, it's nice to have zero wind, because then you got nice smooth air and you're not
Right.
bouncing and swinging and
Or going extra slow into the wind, or
right.
too fast with the wind.
There's no such thing as too fast.
Okay, that answers the next question. then.
Well, you just want to make sure that your wing can go and your motor can go faster than what the wind's blowing, so you can get back home.
The bad thing is if you got too much wind and you go crosswind, it can fold your wing under. So you got to be careful of that.
Okay.
Usually, if the wind is more than around 11 miles an hour, I won't fly.
Now, how do you know what the wind is? I mean, we know how to check it at the ground level, but how are you checking it up high? Are you using Windy?
Fly up there.
Exactly. Windy's a good app that we
she's
normally
going
use.
big.
A
Just
lot
take
of
off
it
and
is
see
you
what
fly
happens.
up there and it goes, oh, geez, it's really bumpy up here. So you drop down.
Now, Dylan, we use the app Windy quite a bit to check the different elevations of where the wind is. Because what is dangerous in the paramotor world is wind shears. So, as you rise up in the altitude, you hit different winds that can be, going different directions or different speeds. So that could be quite dangerous for us. And also with vertical rising air, thermals, as air is rising up on the outside of that thermal, air is also coming down. So those sudden wind shears can collapse the wing and bundle it all up. if that
That's a
makes
lot
any
of
sense.
variables.
So
Oh, yeah.
becoming a paramotor pilot, you become a very good weather, what would you say, forecaster?
Meteorologist.
Weather expert.
Yeah, weather expert. Your life depends on it. So,
Rich had left for a couple days, and me and Frank were sitting there, and I was sitting outside, and I look up in the air. This is in the middle of the afternoon when all the thermals are rising and stuff, and I see a parasail, which a parasail is kind of the same thing, but they don't have motors. They want thermals to lift
Right.
them. And I seen one flying up there, and it's crazy because we're out in the middle of nowhere. And so I run over and banged on Frank's trailer and had him come out. And apparently in Austin, there's a launch site for parasails. And then all of a sudden I seen a second one. There was these two guys, and I'll bet they were 12,000 to 13,000 feet elevation. They were up there flying next to all the clouds, because that's where you got your updrafts and everything. And it was pretty cool to see way out in the middle of nowhere.
That's
wow,
you
that's
be
cool.
high up there.
Yeah, oh, they go really high.
Wow.
Kind of reminds me of a video Brian showed me on a lady and another guy, and they got stuck in one, and it took them over 30,000 feet.
Yeah, she like froze and like passed out for a while and fell back to earth, and then as she was doing so, it unthawed and the wing opened back up or something.
Yeah,
It was
and
crazy.
she landed. She was beat up and everything, but she was alive. The other guy died. But yeah, she got so high, her wing froze, and it dropped her like a rock. And as she was falling, it thawed back out, and inflated and landed her without killing her. It's
How
crazy.
high up were they?
Over 30,000 feet, they said.
I think they got stuck in a big old thunder cell.
Yeah, it was a bad
So what?
thunder
Suck
cell.
them up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Sucked them up and spit them out.
30,000
Yeah.
feet. She shouldn't have even been able to breathe up there.
Yeah, I
You know?
wouldn't think so.
But she survived it.
Wow, that's crazy.
So the trip that you guys went on here, was this just to kind of get away and get out and practice, or was it
You
something
bet.
to get trained up to get ready to go to this Green Eagle ordeal?
Just to get out of town, dude.
Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah.
It's training for me. Learning how to control that wing. I wanted to get. Actually like to have had my cart here to motor around with. Just cart around, not necessarily fly, but to learn the throttle and the controlling the wing while I'm on the cart. Do stuff like that, but I didn't have it. But like I said, I had a great kiting session, and it worked out great that way.
Gotcha.
That's another question. So how do you run the throttle? Because I noticed you guys are pulling on handles. How? Oh, so like on one of the hand grips, there's a throttle, like a quad kind of thing, or what?
It's separate from your wing handle. You have it in your hand, and then you grab your wing handle with 2 fingers.
So it's got cruise
your
control
brake
kind
handle?
of thing.
It's like a throttle cable that comes up, and you have a brake. At least on mine, it's like a brake handle, like on a bicycle.
Yeah, that's what it's
like a
like, a
lever?
brake handle.
Yep.
And then, let's see. With mine, I think it's the 2 fingers that I can control that, and then I put the toggles on my other fingers.
What's a toggle?
Brake toggle.
Brake
How
toggles for the wing.
how you steer your wing.
Oh, okay.
If you pull like this, it folds the back of the right side down, and you
causes drag on the one side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave here so much smarter. I'm gonna learn about winds, topography, and aerodynamics.
You're gonna be leaving here telling Pepper, "I'm getting a paramotor."
At least it's not another drone.
It's a really big drone.
Yeah. All right, so
yeah, with Rich, he wants to get as much kiting as he can get in. So when we go to Texas, we're not spending all the time on the ground kiting. He wants to get in the machine and get to flying.
Mhm.
So the more he can do here and the better he gets here, the less we'll have to do there, and there'll be more flying. With me, I fly, but I'm still a beginner. So I still want to go through the training, because this guy takes you through the machine maintenance, how he built the machine, all that stuff. So of course I want to get that, but you never know what kind of stuff he knows that he can teach me that I don't know on actually flying.
Right.
So I'm going to go through the training too. And he's a really nice guy. I'm going to talk to him about coming on your show, by the way. And he says, well, we'll just see how much you know and how much I got to spend with you. And we'll charge you for a discount rate, because I might not have to spend that much time. But I'm going to be looking over Rich's shoulder the whole time going, oh, I didn't know that. So, and it's a lot funner if you got 2 of you, like you and I went to the Salton Sea. That wouldn't have been as much fun if it was just me all by myself.
Right.
So, we're going to travel down. We're both going to have our own RVs, our own toy haulers, because we got to haul the thing back. So we're going, what is it? 1,500 miles, Rich?
Something that way. 12,
Yeah.
12, 14, somewhere in there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We're going to take a couple, 3 days to get there, spend a week there. And then while we're going there, we're going to scout places to fly. So when we come back and we have our machines, whoop, whoop, whoop. Psh.
That's cool. Very
Stop
cool.
and fly.
Is Rob gonna go with you on this one, or
I'm not sure yet.
okay? Gotcha.
That's right towards the end of my hunting season, and so I need to see what's going on there. But hopefully, I'd really like to.
I think Rob needs to focus on killing a deer. I'm out of steaks. And I got
What's
no
hunting
tags.
season? I forgot all about this word you're speaking of, hunting season. All of our stuff is going up in smoke.
Mhm.
Not here. Well, there's a couple out in the desert here, but nothing major. Not like, I mean, I grew up in the Bay Area and big Basin State Park. I used to go camping up there as a kid, and it's all burned up, they tell me, and in the Santa Cruz foothills and everything. It's just sad what's going on over there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it's something
bad.
else. I was sitting out on the underneath my garage door to stay dry because it was raining where I was at, but we had lightning like it was no tomorrow. I hadn't seen lightning like that since a monsoon down in Arizona.
Wow, yeah. I've lived in Tucson for a while. Them monsoons are crazy.
Oh yeah, have you seen that? The front of the what is it? I forget what it's called when it's a sandstorm, but it's like 10,000 feet tall and like 100 miles wide and just
Yeah.
comes in and hits you.
Oh
That's
man,
impressive.
I've seen them down in the middle of Nevada when I lived in Nevada come through it. It's crazy watching sandstorms move.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
All right, I want to take it back to the camping trip you guys were on. So you said you were out there for what, 3 good days?
3
4.
full days.
3 full days. So
A travel day, half a day there, 3 full days, and a travel day, half a day there coming back.
Yep.
so take us on the first day. What you guys did? You said Rich, he kind of organized where the trailer should be, right? Once you got there.
Yeah.
Did you guys all show up at the same time?
Yep.
Okay. So Rich, you were in charge of setting up camp, eh?
Yeah, I guess so.
So
I just went like this and like that. Everybody parked and jumped out, set up, started eating supper and drinking beer and joking. And I believe we got the kites out that night, didn't we?
Yep.
Kite it?
Yeah.
So-
And,
what was the idea of circling the trailers like you did, with all doors facing each other?
we had carpets there. We could go from trailer to trailer without getting. We took our boots off. We could walk on those carpets, and if one guy wanted beer and somebody was going in to get one, we could just bring 3 out, or
Gotcha.
plate or dinner, or we had barbecue set up there, and
That makes sense.
and shade all day long. Somewhere there was shade.
Yeah, with all our awnings
Okay.
out.
Right.
Clever.
Yeah.
Put the campfire kind of right in the middle, and
I think we had a picture of that.
it was good.
Yeah,
It was fun.
right there. Yep. So all the awnings are out, like Rich says. You got shade all throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just moved one trailer to the other.
And we can hear each other snore all night long.
Yeah. We just yell at each other.
So once you got the trailers all set up, Rich, you said you guys did get some kiting in that afternoon,
Yeah, we went out kiting that evening.
that evening.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then Rob, take us into the second day. What'd you guys do the second day?
Got out of bed.
You got out of bed?
Got up pretty early. I set up to kite my wing first, and kind of wasn't watching my wing right and turned the wrong way and got pulled over upside
Oh.
down. Been up my cage. So I just parked mine and focused on watching your dad fly because I was kind of pissed off at myself. And that's the 4th time I've flipped that sucker this year, and it's getting really annoying. And I guess it's a good thing I bought the paramotor I did, because it's pretty tough. If it'd been like your dad or your frame, I probably would have totaled it on the first one.
Ooh.
So, I mean, the first one I flipped really hard and went full throttle upside down. And I got a pretty nice scar on my knee from that one.
Gotcha.
But anyways, we worked with me for a while. Then I think Rich did some kiting, didn't you, Rich? Well, after I'd flipped and concentrated on getting Rich kiting and your dad flying.
So, Dad, you did fly a little bit that day?
Yeah. Yeah. I took off and flew around.
How many flights did you get that day?
Got
I think
2
one
didn't you?
One in the morning and one in the evening.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Gotta say hi to Andrew. Andrew just logged on and said, "What's up?" So did you guys morning, evenings, pretty good weather? But were you, as you were out flying, did you start experiencing some thermals start to kick up pretty early with the flat lake bed that you had there and the sun beating on it?
Yeah, you're not really picking up a lot of thermals off the dry lake bed because it's white. But in the afternoon, you can see the dust devils on the border on the outside of the dry lake bed. There's one time Rob and I were sitting there counting, we had 5 of them, and all of them were just off of the lake bed.
Oh, wow.
The lake bed itself doesn't kick up. It's hot, but not like if it was black. If it was black,
Oh.
you'd really feel the heat coming off of it. But the white is not really that bad.
So the white
Yeah.
absorbs the heat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like snow.
Gotcha.
And what I found in the morning when I took off is for the first 30 feet was nice and smooth. And then once I got up higher, it started getting, after 30 feet, it started getting a little bumpy.
Okay.
And the higher I went up, it got bumpier. And I'm not sure what was going on, but it was pretty consistent every morning that I flew. It was bumpier, a little bit up in the air. And the higher I got, it got bumpier.
Gotcha. Interesting. So the third, did you guys do anything else the second day other than fly and kite? Did you jump in the Razor and go rip
Drank a
around?
lot of beer.
Drank a lot of beer.
Which day
Red
did you leave, Rich? You left the second day, didn't you? Or did you leave
Yeah.
the third day? The second day. And then yeah, me and I jumped in my Razor and ran down to the ranch down 5 miles down the road and went up and talked with some friends I haven't seen in about 30 years. So later that evening, they came out, drank some beers with me and your dad, and me kind of caught up on things that happened with a bunch of my friends around there and found out how many of them passed away. So
Oh, wow.
kind of crazy, but it was pretty fun just to sit there and talk with old friends.
We got a lot of relaxation and anti-stress time.
Yeah, we did. And we're doing it here in a few more weeks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the third day, Dad, did you get more flying in on that third day?
I think on the third day I got one flight in the morning and I had some engine problems and I had an engine out and had to land in the middle of the desert. I was crossing over. You saw on the map where we had the big dry lake bed and then the little dry lake bed. I was crossing over, and just as I started to cross over that sagebrush area, my engine dropped about half RPMs. So I was steadily coming down. And yeah, it had to do that now, where now I don't have enough elevation to make the turn and get back on the big lake bed. And I didn't have enough elevation to glide to the little lake bed. So I had to pick a spot in between sagebrush. And I got lucky. There was a road that crossed through there. So I did a couple wiggles and timed it and set down so that my wing laid down on the road and not in the sagebrush, because that material rips really easy. So I laid my wing right down on that gravel road with no brush involved. So I got lucky there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because he took off and I followed him for a long ways and was following him, and finally I knew he was headed that way, so I broke off and went back to camp. And I got to camp and I shut my Razor off and I don't hear his paramotor, so I'm looking and looking and I don't see him in the air anywhere, and I'm like, oh great, what the hell? So I jump in my Razor and I head back to where the last place was I seen him, which was where he started across the desert. And I pulled up on some sand dunes and I'd look around, and then I'd go a little more and pull up on a sand dune and look around, and finally I could out about a quarter mile away out there, I thought I could see something, so I started driving towards it, and he was out there waving at me, and we went over and grabbed his wing, and he jumped in, or no, he'd already walked his wing over on the little lake bed and went over there, and he pulled his paramotor over to it, and we adjusted on his carb and got him back in the air to fly back. But as soon as he lifted off the ground, the air adjustment screw backed off again on it, and he had to land her back down.
Oh, wow.
So I just ran back to camp, got my pickup, and we loaded him up and brought him back to camp.
Huh.
But
Did you get a fix for that?
I got a new spring.
A new spring.
A new spring. Went to the hardware store and found a spring, same diameter. Felt like about the same strength, but I cut it a little longer and put it in there, and now you can really feel the tension on it. Before, you could hardly tell you were even turning it because there was no tension on that high end screw. Now you can actually feel it that you're moving it. I haven't gone out and revved it up or haven't flown it since I replaced that spring, but it feels like it's going to hold now.
So 25 cents gets you back in the year?
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, I think it was 19 cents, to be honest with you.
Dang, big spender.
And I got 2/3 of the spring left in case I need another one because it was pretty long.
And next year, Brian, sometime around April, we're going out there camping, and you need to come over. We need to set up a date and get it all ready, and you need to come meet us out there.
Yeah, I need to get my wing. I got to get it sent in because I think I'm beyond the 3 years on it, so it needs an inspection done.
There's a place 100 miles from me. He does it.
Really?
Yeah. He just did mine and sewed up all the bob wire holes in it.
Oh.
I cut a line on mine, and when I brought Frank's wing up here to take to him, because he's it's about just over an hour and a half drive from my house to where he lives, and so I took my wing too, and he fixed my line right as we sat there and talked. He's pulled the line, sewed a new one, put it on. He's got a little shop outside. He lives up by Mackay, Idaho, and looks like he's an old hippie guy, but I guess he's been around parasailing his whole life.
So
And
is he
that's what
certified?
does. Yes.
So
He is a certified rigger. Actually, the guy I bought my wing from, that Dell.
Don't give his name.
Okay. Well, anyways, that guy
That guy.
sends all his stuff to this guy to be repaired.
Okay.
The guy was really cool.
Yeah.
He said when I told him I was sending it in because I had some rips, because I had a failed launch here just outside of Battle Mountain here, and when I stopped, the wing went over the top and laid on a barbed wire fence, and there was all kinds of little holes in it. He said, "Let me get it, and I'll tell you what it's going to cost when I get it. We might be able to just tape some of those." Well, he ended up having to actually sew material
Oh, wow.
in, and didn't charge me a whole heck of a lot compared to what some guys would. I think there was like 8 different holes that he sewed in, and he charged me $400. So that's not bad for a wing repair.
He inspected it too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did that, the biangle or 3-year inspection on it. So
Yeah, so once I get the inspection done on mine, I'll probably start flying again. At least get above the launch site and see how the shoulder holds up. Yeah, I want to get back into it, so...
Yeah, once you get off the ground, your shoulder doesn't play a part in it. So,
well, it's having your arm up all the time is what I'm worried about. So, I mean, I was worried riding the dirt bike again too, but I found that it actually felt better after I rode the dirt bike. So
you stretched it out.
Yeah, so maybe it's the same way with the paramotor. But yeah, definitely need to get back up in the air.
Is that from the wreck on the bike a while ago? You broke your collarbone or whatever?
Yeah, it was, a year and a half ago. Broke a
clavicle.
Collarbone.
3 places.
Right.
Not just one, not 2.
Well, if you're going to do it right.
Yeah, that's right.
Big.
So we've got that. That's pretty much our number 1 happy spot. And we got a couple other spots that we have found that we can go to if we get tired of this one. Nice big lake beds where we can take off and have fun.
So you don't ever see us getting tired of that one, though. That thing's huge.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So you guys planning another trip like this before you go to Green Eagle, or is Green Eagle the next?
Rob and I are going there in 2 weeks.
2 weeks from tomorrow. I'll head to Frank's on Friday the 11th, and Saturday morning we'll head out.
Rich is going to Montana. So
yeah, he bailed on us.
Yeah, it's a have-to trip.
Yeah, we got filet mignon, barbecued ribs on the menu for when we get there.
Oh, that sounds rough.
Yeah, it's
it's real rough.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it. Thank you for doing it for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome. We'll send you pictures. Scratch and sniff pictures.
Of that filet mignon.
Yeah.
It's this dry lake bed. It's so big and so clean and so flat, and it's a pretty hard surface. Once you step on it or run a vehicle across it, then it gets powdery. But you hardly make a mark with the Paramotor. It's an excellent place to go out and practice because you can go kiting, you can go karting, and it's like a parking lot surface. There's no bumps at all.
So what do you think about that surface in your wing? Is it somewhat abrasive to the wing, you think, or is it?
No.
Well, the wing is not on the ground that long. It's like baby powder.
Okay.
The wing is dirty, but when we got home, Rich and I go to a soccer field and kite, and about 45% of it, 50% of it came off because the grass just pulls it off.
Gotcha.
So because that is such a great spot, we'll deal with the alkali dust. It's all over my trailer.
It's still in the back seat of my truck.
Gotcha.
I'd rather have that powder than the ash that's covering the inside of both my cars. I forgot to close my windows when we had our ash.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. No kidding.
Well, the good thing about a toy hauler is you lay the ramp down and I get my leaf blower and go all the way to the front and just start working myself out the back and blow everything into the neighbor's yard.
Dylan's got himself a toy hauler too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, my box trailer. I do bring a leaf blower for that same reason, though. There is one more reason, though. So in the wintertime, I find it great for camping because when everything is soaking wet, it's raining, using a paper plate is great and all, but a leaf blower on idle works a lot better.
Yeah.
Granted, only in the winter when it's raining and everything's all wet, not, just so we're clear. But yes, cleaning out the trailer.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, Dylan, you got any questions for the Paramotor guys here?
Yeah, my next question would be, so you were showing a map earlier where they were flying, and there were two different lake beds. But let's see here, on the picture at about 1:30, 2 o'clock, looked like a mountain ridge.
Yep.
So the mountain ridge, forgive me as I've had fingers put back on, so it's hard for me to make this. If wind hits that, and you're going this way or this way, you get that, the draft over in here and then an updraft over here. How do you guys handle going over the mountain in these different directions? Can you give me one scenario versus the other, one good, one bad? Like, that's my next curiosity.
Well, when we're flying, we're not flying in really horrible winds. Like I said, I don't fly anything past around 11. Mm-hmm. So that kind of wind is not really going to create any problems.
But with that
no matter
said,
what you do.
The wind is going to go one speed along the ground, but when it goes up over the hill, it's going to try and stay at the same speed as the wind above the hill, which in effect makes this wind travel faster.
Yeah. It depends on the slope and the height of the hill, because if it's a gentle slope and a low hill, that effect is going to stay closer to the ground, right?
Okay.
If it's a real steep mountain and a high mountain, then it's going to go higher. Mm-hmm. So you either want to get altitude and go over it, or if it's a weak effect, don't even worry about it. Just go.
Okay. I was just curious because it seems like these things are semi-sensitive to the wind. And I know when I studied for the Part 107, they were talking about the different flying over the different types of terrain that you'll get all these different air currents and circulations. What's on the ground is not the same as 500 feet versus 10,000 feet. So,
right.
I'm just trying to, as somebody who knows nothing, what do you
stay
away from?
Small airplane pilots that go over the Sierra Nevadas, like over Donner, say that they have to get a lot of altitude because that wind coming up off of the Sierras, and then there's a downdraft on the other side, and it will push you right into the ground if you don't have enough altitude. That's why you lose a lot of airplanes in the Sierra Nevadas.
So do you guys avoid big mountains in general and try and seek out these flatlands, or?
Well,
right now, because we're all just really learning, so like say Frank and Brian have the most experience at flying. the only ones right now that have any experience at flying. So it's just do and learn.
Yeah,
Because I watched Brian's video of dragging his feet, almost like dragging your feet across the corn. That looked awesome. That was a real hard video I mean, not click out of, but to very compelling and easy to watch. And it was like, wow, that was fun.
So what you got to be careful of wind, Dylan, is wind, as you probably have learned, is wind is a lot like water. So when wind hits an obstacle, say like a tree line, when the wind hits a tree line, it's going to bump over the tree line and it's going to eddy and roll on the backside, kind of like what you would see in a stream. Water comes up, hits a rock, it's going to go over the rock, and then it's going to roll on the backside. A lot like wind. Now, if we take our paramotors and we're flying in that, it's going to slam you right down to the ground because that eddy effect on the backside. And that's kind of small, but yet you can take it to a bigger extreme of a big mountain range, and you have a good I wouldn't call it jet stream, but some local wind current that's coming through. It's hitting that mountain range, and it's doing a much bigger eddy on the backside, which can put airplanes into danger, medium-sized type airplanes and helicopters and whatnot. But for us as paramotor pilots, with having such a small a small unit and a small wing, that could be quite dangerous for us. So
valleys or flatlands are what you seek out?
Not necessarily. Just knowing where your winds are coming from and what obstacle that wind is hitting. Not to be on the lee side of that where you're going to get that roll. So just being aware of it.
If you're someplace like in the Sacramento Valley where there's trees everywhere, generally the wind is broke up so much that you don't get that consistent eddy that those rolls. It's just hit and miss. Just do what you want. If the wind's blowing pretty hard, you're going to have to be careful. But
you're trying to avoid the winds anyway.
Yeah, high winds.
High winds. Okay. All right.
10, 11 miles an hour is good for me.
See a little breeze to keep you cool off as you're flying through.
Oh, yeah. Of course, this coming winter, we're going to be set because the Green Eagle has a charging system on it, so our snowmobile suits will plug right in and we can fly all winter long.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh,
whole new level.
And you don't have to worry about that rising air.
So what about like you were just mentioning fixed wing aircraft? They have an altitude limit. Do you guys have an altitude limit?
Mm-hmm. You bet.
Is that a legal limit? Or actually, I should say that two ways. Is there a legal limit and is there a physical limit?
Yeah, it depends on where you're at. We look at the VFR charts, flight reference,
VFR is visual flight reference.
Right. Yep. VFR charts tells us what airspace we're in.
Mm-hmm.
At 15,000 feet, if we're in G airspace or E airspace, we have to go to oxygen at 15,000 feet. And we cannot go over 17,999 because at 18,000 feet, you're in A airspace.
Class A.
Class A.
Those are such a pain to figure out, but I had to pass those for the Part 107, so I understand the.
Yeah, Rich and I have been studying them, so when we get to Marble Falls, we don't spend so much time in the classroom learning the VFR charts, and that's what Brian and I did when we went to the Salton Sea. Is we had already been calling each other back and forth on the phone, going, "What do you think this is? I don't understand this." And we pretty well had a good grasp of the VFR charts when we got to the Salton Sea, to the point Mike Masterson said, "Well, you guys know this stuff. Let's move on to something else."
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's what Rich and I are doing right now. I'm trying to refresh myself because you know how quick you can lose that.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much on those charts. And trying to get back really good familiar with it in our country here. In fact, I would say that dry lake bed is probably less than 10 miles from the Fallon bombing range. So when we're flying, we got to be careful we don't sneak over into the bombing range and get blowed up.
Is that restricted airspace?
Yes, it is.
Gotcha.
And we're actually flying in an MOA, a military operations area, but you can fly in those. There's also a phone number and a website you can call or get on the website and find out when they have activity in them and what altitudes. So if we are in that MOA and we want to go to 7,000 feet, it'd probably be a good idea to call and find out, because you don't want to come nose to nose with an M16.
No, not really. You'd probably lose that battle.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
we have, for drones, we have Before You Fly and Kitty Hawk. Do you guys have apps that will help you figure out your airspace and all that kind of stuff?
Yep.
What's yours called?
I don't know.
Oh, God. You failed that one.
It's an app we just go to.
Hey, Siri.
Fly Q.
Fly what? Cube?
Q, as in Quigley down under.
Okay.
Fly Q.
And the Fallon Air Base, their bombing ranges. Fallon is if you remember the movie Top Gun, the original one, it was filmed a lot out of Fallon, even though Miramar was the home to Top Gun pilots. They have now moved it to Fallon. Their Top Gun training is done out of Fallon, Nevada. You got a naval base in the middle of the desert, but they have quite a few bombing ranges around there.
I went last time I went through Death Valley. They were doing some sort of training, and they were doing almost Mach speed at like a couple hundred feet above the highway, and we were on the highway. It was like, what was that just shook the car?
You see that a lot around here because there's MOAs everywhere.
Yeah, I used to live in the dry lake bed we're at. I used to live 30 miles south of it, and I would drive to Fallon 80 miles to go grocery shopping once a week. And you'd be driving down the old Highway 50, you'd be driving towards Fallon, and them guys would do it on purpose. They'll come up from behind you, doing Mach 2 and just buzz your pickup, and it scare the crap out of you when they do that.
Imagine that on a Paramotor.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you.
Oh, that would be terrible. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It is a blast.
What's entry level for equipment, and what did the class cost you money?
Well, Rich can answer how much it's going to cost for the class if he wants to.
$1,000.
How much?
What's that?
1,000 for
1,000.
training.
Okay.
Week's worth.
Is that in the evening? So all day
That's all day training every day.
for a week? Okay.
Now that cost is $1,000 along with buying the equipment, right?
Yes.
Where Dad and I, we went and took our training at Salton Sea. I think that was like $2,000, wasn't it?
No, it was going to be $2,000, and he gave us the father-son discount, charged us $18.
Now, normally I think it's $1,200. If you buy equipment from this guy, I think it's $1,200. And if you don't buy equipment and just training, it's $1,800 for just the training.
Gotcha.
And what's the equipment going to start at? What's entry level with the 2-stroke, not the 4-stroke cart and fiberglass suspension and whatnot?
Okay, there's two different variations you can get. You can get one with aircraft aluminum frame with the smaller engine.
Now he's talking about the Green Eagle, the ones we're buying.
This is the Green Eagle. This isn't the backpack one. That's what you want to know, wasn't it, about the one we're buying?
I'm asking about all of as much information as you'll give me because I don't know anything about it.
Okay, well, all I know is the Green Eagle. I don't know about the backpacks. I haven't checked on that. But the Green Eagle, you get two variations. The smaller one with the aluminum frame and a small engine. You can get the one that I bought and Frank and I bought. It's a stainless steel frame with a bigger engine, more thrust. The little one, I believe, is 12.6 or something that way. And the one we got is 14,000 for it.
Okay.
The wing I got, it was $4,000 wing.
So that 14 does not include the wing.
No,
Wow. Okay.
that's 14 for the machine, 4,000 for the wing. I'm going to be into it 20 grand of training, travel, all this stuff, helmets, radios, all that stuff. I'll be into it at least 20 grand.
Now I can see justifying 30 grand to the wife for a Can-Am because she can ride along with. But it seems like kind of tough to justify 20 grand when she just gets to watch from the ground.
The Green Eagle cart, he has an adapter kit that you can put a tandem seating system on it.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
So
then
that
that makes
She
it a
can
little
ride with
easier.
you.
Yeah, my better half is not gonna ride with me.
Okay,
There's no problem there.
okay. Just trying to think of everything I can possibly, because
Now,
I'm not around guys like you guys all the time, so I don't have a chance to like, hey, so what did you say that, or how does this work, or you know.
if you want to get into flying and not worry about the carts, but strap it on your back, what do you say, Brian? About 11 all new gear, 11, 12?
I think it was closer to 12. But
12?
if you're looking at
All brand new gear?
if you're looking at used, you're probably looking anywhere between maybe 5 and 6.
I
That
spent
seems kind of
6.
sketch though, buying something used.
I did. I bought all used.
The wing's
I
important.
don't recommend it. I mean, a lot of the motors are for sale back in Florida and all over, and I found one for sale that was a 4-hour drive from my house, so I actually drove to it to make sure it ran and everything like that. I got there, it was a deputy sheriff that owned it up in Yellowstone, and he fired it up for me, let it run, everything, and then I bought the wing online used. If you're going to buy one of the best wings, it's the type that Frank bought and Brian, the brand they bought.
If you're gonna buy a used wing, do your research and find the wing that's got a good safety record. And once you buy that wing, send it back in for inspection. Send it back to the company, and then when they give their thumbs up, you get that wing back, and then you got something safe to ride on.
Okay, all right.
They'll inspect every single one of the stitches because there's a lot of stitching because it's got how many cells does the Spider have?
A lot.
20, 21? They're built in cells. So every single one of those cells have stitching on the top and on the bottom. And there's thread all over those suckers. And when you send it back to the company for inspection, they inspect every single one of those stitches all the way up and down to make sure there's no breaks in the stitching. Then they inspect every single line. The line is Kevlar coated in, it's covered. It's got a sheath on it that's made out of nylon, I think, to protect the Kevlar strings. And they inspect all that to make sure the lines are good. And they really go through it and let you know if you've got a wing that's going to be safe.
That seems like a great idea, but very labor intensive.
Oh, yeah.
Go over every stitch.
Yeah.
That's why it's a few $100s to have it done.
Huh. How do they like mark them? So yes, I've been here.
Haven't watched.
They've got an inspection sticker that's in the middle. Is it on the?
It's on the inside leading edge of one of the cells.
And I think they actually sew it in there, so that gives you a certified date
Oh.
and company, if I remember right, signature. But if you want to become a pilot, though, I mean, this is the cheapest way to do it. It's a dirt bike in the sky.
Yeah.
You don't need hangar fees. What other flying piece of equipment can you throw in the back of your trunk and take it out in some grassy field and take off and go fly?
You don't have to pay an aircraft mechanic $600 an hour to do your annual inspection.
Yeah.
You don't have hangar fees. You don't have insurance. It's nice to have insurance, but not like you're going to pay for a regular airplane. And it's like Brian said when he was trying to talk me into going into the paramotor. I says, I want a new airplane. And he goes, Dad, these are low and slow. You can fly between the trees. You can chase coyotes. And he started sending me videos. And the more I watched, the more I go, man, this is fun. In an airplane, you fly from point A to point B.
Fast. Yeah.
Fast. You look out and you go, yeah, look at, man, that looks cool down there. Well, I look down there now and I see something cool. I go down and check it out. You can't do that on a fixed wing aircraft.
And with with the paramotor, carving around trees and going down in the cornfields and you're getting all the smells. You've got nothing in front of you. It's like sitting in a lawn chair strapped underneath the wing is basically what it is.
Dirt bike of the sky.
Dirt bike of the sky, man. You're just you find a path, and you're just carving. There's just nothing like it.
Total freedom.
Yep. There's a couple guys here that do it. Well, probably about 7 or 8 now. I was talking with a couple of them, and they'd come in and landed, and they were talking about they went out. The farmers had just baled their alfalfa, and so there was hay bales out there all over, the 1-ton hay bales, and they were talking about how they were out there doing slalom courses on them, dragging their feet around them. And these are guys that come in, and they're really good pilots, and they'll put the tip of their wing on the ground and be spinning in a circle and then come back up out of it. It's crazy. You go online and follow some of these really good pilots, and it's just crazy what they can actually do with these.
I'm a tourist. I don't want to do that kind of stuff.
I just want to fly and look around. I mean, I live right on the edge of the Snake River Canyon, so I got something really pretty to fly and look at. So.
That sounds, well, exciting, yet there's another word, but I'll leave it out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well,
wow, that's quite something.
Yeah, the one guy that I talked to is a Red Bull skydiver, does everything. He goes out with Travis Pastrana and does tandem skydives with him and hangs out with Nitro Circus. So they're kind of crazy, them guys, but they're good.
We only live once.
Yeah, hey.
Sleep when you're dead.
That's it. Yeah.
At least you'll have a good story, or someone will have a good story to tell about you.
Yep.
He was out in the field, slaloming through the 1-ton hay bales, put his wing down and spun it around, and well,
there was a 1-ton bale.
yeah. Now it's all wrapped.
Yeah. But it's a blast.
One of the things I have to caution anybody that's watching, if we have anybody watching, there are a lot of people out there that tried to learn how to do this on YouTube because there is no licensing. You don't have to get a license. You don't have to go to an instructor. And they watch the videos and they think now they can fly a paramotor. Those guys usually get hurt bad. The best thing you can do is go to a good instructor and learn how to do it right.
And there's lots of them out there, so no matter where you live, you're going to find a good instructor.
So if you're paying, hypothetically here, $20,000 for this unit, you should be able to afford $1,000 to $2,000 for some proper training. That's what, a tenth of the cost?
For insurance on your life, I think you would definitely put that money forward.
Part of this guy's training too is maintenance on the machine. The motor that goes on that the Green Eagle has is called a Kohler. They're generator motors for generator plants. Yeah. The cabin at Silver Lake has a Kohler plant on it. They're meant to run a long time and just run and run and run. And what do you say, Rich? $350 for the rebuild kit?
Yeah.
$350. They're built with the sleeve cylinder. So when it comes time, you got the hours on it and you want to rebuild it, $350. You pull the heads off, pull the cylinder out. So they're built to last for a very, very long time.
So they don't know this. Maybe I should be quiet. They don't know this term, planned obsolescence.
Yeah. Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And the guy, we're going to try to talk him into coming on with Brian. The guy, the reason why it's called a Green Eagle is when he first designed it, he designed it to run off of, now correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, propane, diesel, what else? Gas. He pretty much designed it to run off whatever fuel you could get.
Diesel sounds great, but heavy.
Yeah.
Stinky.
We got the Green Eagle packs 5 gallons of gas and runs about 5 gallon an hour. So we got 5 hours of flight time.
That's a good amount of time.
Yeah, that's a real long time.
No.
I know guys with dirt bikes that don't even have that kind of capacity.
Yeah, exactly. Even with the desert, even when you put a desert tank on them.
When Rich and I are having red beers in the evening, we've been discussing on how to do some in-flight refuels.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
That'd be crazy.
Drink some really high-proof alcohol and dump it in the tank behind you. One for you and one for me.
Yeah.
No, it's supposed to be 8 hours potable throttle. Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do a lot of talking about drinking a lot of beer, but when we're flying,
We're not
I
drinking.
drink quite a bit when I'm kiting, but when I get to flying, there's not going to be any alcohol.
Yeah, no.
The worst thing that can happen to you when you're kiting is you fall over.
Yeah.
And Rich usually does that when he's had too many anyway. Not kiting. So
You got to give some more to the engine.
Probably helps him out in the long run, right?
the wing up here kind of keeps him on his feet. But no, we're very careful about that. We don't drink. It's like when a flew in the morning, all that downtime until the evening, didn't have a single drink until after we've flown in the evening, and then the red beers come out. So,
And boy, did they come out.
ooh, baby.
Is it time to land yet? Is it 5 o'clock?
Yeah, beer 30, get down here.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
Where?
So I'd like to bring you guys on again once you've taken that training and on your little adventure back and all the spots that you found that you explore and go fly out of on your return trip. So we'll have to plan
Our
something.
RV setup. I made the reservations at the RV park, and I got a couple spots really close to the office because they got Wi-Fi. We might be able to hook up with you while we're there.
Could do that, yeah.
Hint.
All right.
We'll let you know how that turns out. But yeah, we'd like to give you a hoo-ha on all the training and what we learned, and pictures of our new machines, custom paint jobs, powder coated.
Now, if we did this on a Thursday, would this kind of throw you towards the last end of your training, or is this more in the beginning?
It would be probably the last day of our training,
that'd be perfect then.
because we start Monday and we'll probably end Thursday or Friday.
Perfect.
If Rich gets his kiting down really good and the VFR charts and the weather and all that, we'll be out kiting and carting and flying within it. Well, you remember when we were at the Salton Sea, Mike said, well, okay, you guys got to kite for at least a minute before I'll sign you off on that.
Right.
Our first time up, we were 5 minutes kiting all the way to the end of the field. And he goes, well, let's fly. We were flying the second day when normally we were supposed to, on the fourth day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like with this guy. He says, we'll see how you're doing, and we'll get you in the air as soon as I feel comfortable. So if we get this stuff down, we'll be in the air pretty quick. So I'm betting we'll be done by Thursday.
Gotcha.
When you were mentioning guys who were getting their training off YouTube, when I tried to circumvent spending money to learn to get my Part 107, the drone license, I had to learn those charts and weather and NOTAMs and all that stuff. I watched hours and hours and hours of video and was still like not doing well on the practice tests and whatnot.
Right.
And then finally found one online where it cost me some money, but they were very, very in-depth on reading the sectional charts and the wind and the weather. And they were so good that I went from like barely ever passing the practice test to a severe lack of sleep, taking the test and passing with a B.
Yeah.
So obviously I retained the information because it was still there, even though I was not totally 100%. But what you're saying about finding the right instructor and the right information is absolutely critical. You may learn it and you may know it, but you probably memorized it, and you won't be able to really, you'll have the book knowledge, but not the real life practical knowledge, if that makes sense. So book smart, life dumb, if I may be so blunt.
Well, a lot of it is when you're, and the reason why we do the kiting is so that when we're up in the air and the wing is doing something weird, our muscles will make the correction. Mm-hmm. If we got to bring our brain into effect, usually it's too late. So the kiting gets your muscles memory working to where you fix it and you don't realize you fixed it. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're after with the kiting, is to learn the wing. You pretty much got to know that it's going to do something funky before it even does something funky, if that makes sense. And with that really good kiting session that Rich had, and I've been helping him a little bit. I'm still a beginner, but I give him some advice every now and then. You can watch the leading edge of that wing, and the material on the bottom, it was fluttering like this. It was getting ahead of him. to where it was going to collapse. Because if you're standing here and your wing is here, it gets too far ahead of you, it's not filling up with air properly, and it will just collapse. Yeah, it'll fly past you sometimes if you let it. And you could watch the leading edge, underside of that leading edge, and the material would start fluttering. Give it a little bit of break and hold it back, and then it would start flying good again.
What would cause to go ahead of you? Wind?
Yeah. The wind is high enough. Yeah. Because he's standing still, and the wind is actually flying the wing. And the wind would come up just enough that it would fly it past him, and he'd have to break it back and bring it back into the fly zone.
So could you fly the other direction and try to fly more into the wind? Because this sounds like
this is into the wind.
This is into the wind, but the wing is designed to fly, and it wants to go. The way the air comes off from it pushes the wing.
Huh. I never would have in a million years thought of that one. Learning all kinds of stuff here. This is great. You guys are turning on light switches left and right. I like this.
You'll be ready to get with Brian and fly next week.
Yeah, hey Brian, can I borrow your Paramotor?
$10,000 deposit.
Yeah, right.
So when you go kiting, that's what you're doing, is you're learning all these little things about your wing. You try to get to where you fix the problem before the problem actually happens. Because, once the problem happens, now you could be in trouble. So.
And that's not just a matter of like stubbing your toe trouble.
No. It's a long way down.
So another question. So somebody knows nothing about this stuff. Is there like a release cable where you can release the motor and you're strapped into just the parasail? Oh, okay. Sorry.
The motor is attached to the pack, which is attached to the chair. It's all one unit. Okay. So if you're foot launching and you take off, once you lift up off the ground, you and the seat comes underneath you, and now you're setting on the motor instead of the motor hanging off your back.
So there's no ejection seat?
No.
Well, you could unstrap and jump off.
Yeah, if you wanted to.
I'll get my skydiving rig, get way up there and jump off and then skydive down, but then I'd have to buy a new paramotor.
No squirrel suit?
And we do have a reserve unit, so if your main wing gets bundled up or something funky happens and you're falling towards Earth, you have a reserve that you can throw out into open air as a secondary savior.
Okay.
And it's a round parachute that bring you down to the ground to where you probably get hurt, but you gotta live.
I've heard of those working and saving people's lives from 50 feet above the ground.
Yeah.
Deploying.
I thought it took more than that to inflate.
It does.
They open fast.
Wow. Crazy.
Like in skydiving, the reserve on my skydiving rig, I need at least 1,000 feet for it to open. If I deploy it 1,000 feet, it's going to go whoop.
Yeah. But you got to think about it. If you have some general winds in the area too, that's definitely going to help you.
Yep.
To help deploy that reserve as well.
Well, now I feel like I'm ready to go.
Let's go.
Head to Brian's.
Yeah. We'll get you out here
tomorrow.
We'll get you out here kiting.
I'll trade the wife's Subaru in and we'll go buy one.
There you go.
The cool thing about paramotors and paramotor carts, especially if you live in the country that we do in Nevada, there are so many different places you can just pull over and take off. Look at the VFR chart on your phone or the actual chart. Go, oh, G airspace, I can go here. E airspace, I can go here. Oh, look, there's a little opening right over there. Well, it's long enough.
So do you guys have to contact ATC before you fly?
Yeah.
Depends if we're in the in a controlled airspace or not.
Yeah. Now with the foot launch, you can be in the air in 10 feet.
Depending on your winds,
if you got a decent little wind, you can pop your wing up, turn, and be in there in 10, 15 feet. With our carts, it takes probably, Frank, 100 feet is about what you were doing?
Wind.
Yeah. But, yeah, foot launching, you can be in there, especially the guys that are really good at it, they can take 3 steps and be flying.
I saw Brian's video. He was in the air in no time.
Yeah.
Right.
You were doing like touch and goes, I think, in one of your video.
Yep, practicing takeoff and landings. Yep.
They used to do that with the RC airplanes all the time, and
That's the most
saved
difficult
my
part.
planes a few times. Battery dies. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
bring it in with no throttle. Here we go.
Fly-
Yeah,
But instead of-
I broke Brian's RC airplane because we were out at the ranch and there was a flatbed trailer, and I went, "Oh, aircraft carrier." I landed on it just fine, but didn't have enough roll and off the side, off the
No,
front.
you got to get into a high. So I actually have a video of me doing that with an RC airplane. I landed on a table that's 2 feet wide, but you got to bring it up into what's called a high alpha, and then you set it down.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that done right. It almost stopped in time, but it flipped over. Oh well.
That's why. That's one of the reasons why I pushed the YouTube channel and the video that I was making of just me taking off and landing, because flying's the easy part. You know, you get up in the air, you can fly for 2-3 hours, come back and land. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to master the takeoff and landing. So I'd take off, I'd circle around, come back and land. Take off, circle around, come back and land. I just kept on doing that, and I wanted to take video of it so I can capture something that I was doing wrong, something I could fix, to critique myself. And I think that's actually what kind of got the YouTube channel going as I started posting those videos. So they're not the most entertaining videos, but they were there more for myself.
They're valuable.
They're valuable
Because I sent a video of Rich kiting. He was having a little problem. I couldn't figure out what it was. I sent it to Brian, and Brian picked up on it, told Rich, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's it." And he was kiting like a pro then. It was just one of those little things that I didn't pick up on it. Rich didn't pick up on it. Brian watched it a couple times and finally went, "Hey, this is what he's doing." So videoing yourself when you're learning is a very valuable tool.
Yeah, and don't let your attention just, focused on filming. You don't have to do that. Just set up a camera on a tripod, even if I think mine was a GoPro with 8 hours of filming that I can do on that card. And I just sat there, turn it on, and just left it go. I'd edit it later. So then I can, focus all my attention on my flying and touch and goes that I needed to do.
So when I used to fly fixed wing or RC all the time, like every single weekend, we used to do practice failures. So one thing was we'd call it like dead stick. So the pilot would take the plane way up in the air and just fly around randomly until the person next to him said dead stick, and you had to turn the throttle off 100%. And the objective was to land as close to your feet as you could without hitting yourself, which would teach us how to land more properly. Do you guys ever practice failures in any way?
Yep.
Yeah, there. In fact, in your US PPG has license that you don't have to have them, but you can go for them. Some of the fly-ins require you have a class 2 to be able to fly at their fly-in, but they have those kind of requirements that you have to do so many landings, spot landings, so many feet away from the X, under power, with power. It's like with skydiving, you had the same thing. You had to declare, I'm going for my spot landing, and then you had to land within so many feet to that X before you moved up in rating, and the PPG is the same way. Yeah, in fact, to get a 2, you have to demonstrate a crosswind landing and takeoff. There's a whole list of different stuff that you have to do to move up.
There's like a whole task book you got to do.
Yeah.
And you got to sign each task off.
I would say it would be good practice to do.
Yep.
When I used to do that kind of stuff, it brought me from just flying to it was also entertainment because we're not in the thing, but also my skill level went huge. If I had a battery failure or an engine failure, I was like, oh no, I got this, no problem. And I know exactly, like you were saying with the muscle memory, I didn't even think about it. I just instinctively knew, okay, I need to do a few more circles. I'm going to do a quick dive, and then I'm going to pull up real hard to give it a stall and then set it back down. But you did it all mentally because you've done it 1,000 times.
When I was learning how to fly RC planes, I spent hours and hours building this plane, right? And I didn't want to crash it. So I had a real experienced guy who would take it up, get it up in the air, and then he'd give me the controls. And I'd fly it around. When it was time to land, I'd hand it back to him until I felt good enough that I could take off and land. And I said, man, I'm doing pretty good. He says, yeah, but the plane's flying you. And I said, what do you mean? He says, you think you're flying it, but you're just keeping it level and it's going wherever it wants to go. And I didn't think about it until he said that. And then I realized that, well, I'm not really in control. I'm just keeping it belly down.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to put those tasks so that you know you're actually doing the work, that you're flying the dang thing. If I'm landing every time and I hit the runway, somewhere on the runway, hey, I'm doing good. Okay, land on this X. Well, if I can't get within 100 yards of it, well, I'm maybe not that good, right?
Maybe need more practice.
Yeah. Rob and I, when we were skydiving, we would come up with something that we wanted to see if we can do this, see if we can do that. And we were always tasking ourselves with something new, because that's where you get good, is when you start upping your game. Like with Brooklyn, and her quad was getting too easy and it was time for more of a challenge. So you put her on 2 wheels,
Right.
and now she's having a great time again, because she's a Hobbs. She's got to have that challenge.
No. No.
Right, Rich?
Right.
All right, so we're pushing an hour and a half.
Whoa.
We should probably start closing it out here for the paramotors and camping. Anything you guys want to add, or any more quick questions on the paramotor stuff?
I'd add thank you. Now I actually know a thing or two.
Yeah. Well, when you're ready to fly, let Brian know. He's pretty good.
I fly all the time.
Well, I
They're called drones.
I need some video photography done when I fly my my paramotor, so I might call you up.
Well, I owe you a few favors, so the least I can do. I'd be glad to. Which one you want? You want thermal? You want thermal camera? Do you want zoom or high definition?
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
We've got options.
All right. So Rich, good luck on your upcoming adventure. Hope to talk to you from your training site and see how everything's going.
Yeah, that'd be a good show, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be a good one.
And I'd also like to hear Dad on your guys' way back home, and the different locations that you found and the different adventures along the way coming home.
Yeah, well, we're having issues with that already.
Yeah.
We wanted to fly Monument Valley, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to. It's all Indian reservation, and they won't allow that.
Gotcha.
According to the VFR, it's G airspace, but they said it's a no-fly zone. The
How does
tribal.
that work, though? Because the FAA controls
The only thing I told Rich says they cannot say it's not we can't fly there because it's G airspace.
Yeah,
but if we have an engine out and set down on the reservation, we're losing $20,000 worth of gear.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They will take your stuff from you.
Okay,
So we're not going to chance it.
Yeah. You might as well just throw the respect out there and just keep everybody happy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I agree with that, but I look at it as disrespect to me trying to buffalo me into believing I can't fly there. I know better. Well, it was like that ranger that we talked to up there, saying that we couldn't fly over the reservoir. They pretend that no, this is no fly zone.
No.
Don't lie to me. I know what the VFR chart says.
Yeah, and once you leave the ground, you're in FAA airspace. You're not. It doesn't matter if you're flying over Yellowstone. You're not in the park.
Yeah.
They don't own the airspace. But like you're saying, if you crash, you're in a world of hurt, because not only physically, but they're going to confiscate your stuff.
Yeah.
But as long as you take off and land from outside there ain't nothing they can do about it.
Nope. But it's not worth it. I don't have another 20 grand to go buy all new stuff 3 days after I just got done paying for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll find some other place to fly.
So make sure you're when you guys do this adventure, training to the Green Eagle, make sure you take a lot of video.
That's the intention, because when I get back, I'm going to do some editing so that we have a video file of all the steps that we can go back and refer to.
Right.
And I'll give a copy of all of them to Rich, and then I'll have, so we can watch them every now and then, discuss and make sure that we keep our skills honed.
Right. And I'd recommend doing some narrating on your way down too. Tell the story on your guys' trip. So
I'll leave all that up to your dad.
Yep.
Yeah,
Brian's
I
good.
mean,
You
even
need Brian to go. He's the one that's good at that stuff.
even if it's on your cell phone, just narrate yourself and tell a story of what you guys are doing, and make
You'd
something
be
of it later.
surprised how many people, if you've got something that you think is interesting to you, how many people are also going to find it interesting and probably informative. So
Yeah.
if that's any bit of motivation, I would throw that bit out there that someone's going to watch it, and probably more than just one.
Well, when I finally decide that I'm going to retire, I'm going to load up my paramotor in my toy hauler and just take off and try to find different places that I can fly and make a video of just like 2-minute clips of this place, 2-minute clip of this place, 2-minute, and put like 30 different places on there. And the family will never know where I'm at.
Until after you publish it, but you've already left.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna close this out. Dylan, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Dylan.
Keep it
Thanks
going.
for the questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for the info.
You bet.
We'll have him flying in no time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've got the sectionals down. I'm good there.
Right. All right, so we're gonna end the show now. Unless you guys got something else real quick.
Nope.
I'm hungry.
Adios.
I'm out of beer.
Nice to, thanks for
I
having
need a
me
beer.
on again.
Thank you. See you next
Yep.
time.
See you, Richie Rich. See you, Dylan.
Okay, guys.
Cheers.
See you, Brian.